You've described the situation in Fallujah as terrifying. What's happening to people trying to leave there?
The situation is frightening. Frightening because people are scared, terrified of shelling and bombing, particularly at night. At the same time, they know that if they decide to leave, to try and flee using smugglers to cross the Euphrates River, again, their life will be at stake, because if they are caught by ISIS as they are trying to flee, they will be immediately shot in order to teach a lesson to others. At the same time, there is the side of the physical deprivation. They are completely exhausted, many are starving. Prices of groceries, whatever little exists, have skyrocketed, because whatever little exists is ordered for family members of ISIS. Ordinary people cannot afford a bag of rice for $35 or a bag of flour for $700. It's just not possible. So they end up eating dates and yogurt.
How have people been surviving in Fallujah under the siege that's been going on for 6 months?
They have been coping with extreme penury and misery. The problem was that ISIS has a tactic of using them as human shields. So they are actually trying to bring them into the city center, because they know that then there will be it will be very difficult to have a military onslaught when so many civilian lives are on the line. And the farther that they take them from the outskirts, the more difficult it becomes for them to try and flee. Those who can, those who dare, those who can pay the smugglers, they manage, but they tell us of misery, penury, and enormous pain and terror, because they have no good answers to their situation.
Is there a corridor for people trying to escape from Fallujah? How is it that they're managing to get out?
A few weeks ago, the government had declared the establishment of safe corridors whereby people could gather there and they would be extracted safely from the army. The problem is that, in fact, because of the fierce resistance put up by ISIS, safe corridors are not safe. People fleeing at night may be killed by snipers, may drone. We have had arrow intel, so people droning when the boat capsizes, and these safe corridors in fact may be booby-trapped, or there may be landmines exploding, and therefore making it highly risky for people to try and flee using them. That's why they go at night, undercover at night, by smugglers through the river.
The cities of Tikrit and Ramadi were extensively damaged when the Iraqi army went in to try and liberate them. What guarantee do you have from the army that the same thing won't happen in Fallujah as well?
That is the whole point of our advocacy. The humanitarian community is saying we cannot put 40,000 lives on the line to retake the city immediately. Better to have a military strategy which may take more time but will minimize civilian casualties and, of course, physical destruction. The president of Ramadi and Tikrit are not very encouraging, and the determination of ISIS fighters to fight to their death, that indeed they are seeking, are not good signs. But what is good is that there has been a very mature dialogue with the Iraqi authorities, and the Iraqi authorities seem really to be trying.
You've been in Iraq for 12 months now. You've seen what's been going on in terms of sectarian killings. How concerned are you that we'll see more of that, more sectarian killings and human rights abuses in the aftermath of Fallujah, potentially in the aftermath of Mosul, as all of these different players compete for control in these cities?
I must say, after 12 months in Iraq, and apart from my personal deepest sympathy with the Iraqi people, my feeling is that Iraq is a very profoundly traumatized place. People have not had the time to recover from wars, the first of which started in 1982. The Iraq-Iranian war, and ever since it has been one war after the other. So we are dealing with a profoundly traumatized population where politicians sometimes play, for reasons of power, the game of sectarianism and factionalism. Our hope is that after so many years of relentless pressure and misery that Iraq will find the strength to learn the lessons, many lessons of the past, and unite in order to envisage and to share a common future. But before we get there, and this is in a way the message that I would like to leave with you, the situation is going to get worse.
How much
Fallujah,
worse can it get?
Mosul, worse in the sense that we will have hundreds of thousands more people displaced, hundreds of thousands more people in extreme need of everything because they will have come only with the clothes that they wear. The hope is that 2016 might mark a turning point for Iraq, both in terms of the psychological setup after so much suffering, so much misery, so much trauma, and of the objective reality of the ground if ISIS is beaten back, between now and 2017. If that turning point comes, then Iraq will need every bit of attention and support from the international community to make the transition, to get from here, through the wars, to a future where some hope may come, some people may be willing to return. Let us not forget that right now, displaced Iraqis badly want to return to Ramadi, to Tikrit, to places which have been taken over, and it is just a matter of time for Fallujah, inshallah, for Mosul also to come to fruition.